time has come for those of us who have paid our dues, paid our debts, and paid our taxes to finally start paying attention to ourselves. America's in our 20s was fun. In our 30s was expensive. In our 40s were filled with change. In our 50s were filled with questions. How many of us are asking, what happened? No, not what happened to the money, not what happened to the equity in your house, or what happened to the kids coming over. What happened to our bodies?
Dr. Ted. Amen, Dr. Ted. America, welcome to Live2B100, America's first TV show targeted and designed specifically for you to learn how to add years onto your life. How will we be doing that, you ask? Well, we plan to share new information, ideas, and concepts with you regarding fitness and nutrition. We'll also be introducing to you technology that is assisting people around the world in becoming healthier. And we will invite thought leaders in the areas of mental, emotional, and physical preparedness to come on the show and teach you new techniques, designs, and philosophies. And when we're done, if you give it your very best shot, it just may be possible that you too can live to be 100.
This year, in 2009, 33% of the population of the United States will be over the age of 65. That's roughly 105 million people staring in the mirror and seeing their mortality stare back at them. Join us with the amazing Dr. Ted Gambordella and Deanne Moore on the new hit show, Live to Be 100.
One of our favorite components of the show is introducing you to new technology that is aiding and improving the health of mature adults like ourselves.
Our next guest is not only out in front of the cutting edge of technology, but MedSonics has developed the capacity to deliver an anti-aging treatment through the use of low-frequency sound waves. And believe it or not, the creator of MedSonics, Alphonse Casson, actually discovered the technology by accident.
We were not able to have the doctor in the studio with us, but we're able to speak to Dr. David Lippman right now, who joins us from the MedSonics offices in Florida. Since the name of the show is Live to Be 100, how is MedSonics technology different from other technologies that use sound waves like the ultrasound transducer?
Okay, well, the MedSonics transducer is a low-frequency based system, and it's really the core element of our therapeutic system. And the way it differs from, let's say, ultrasound is that ultrasound are high-frequency waves, but ultrasound treats a very localized portion of the body, whereas the MedSonics treatment, which happens by inducing those or putting those transducers in a liquid medium, and the sound waves produce a global effect on the body, so it actually treats the entire body versus a localized effect such as ultrasound.
Well, what does the low-frequency equipment do to the body?
Well, so far what we're sure about is through two studies that we had done over at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, is number one, we are absolutely seeing an increase in blood flow in all blood vessels of the body, large and small. And they've taken pre- and post-Doppler ultrasound readings to show, in fact, that there is a significant blood flow increase across the board. The second thing that they've assessed so far is that in patients that have arthritis, there seems to be a reduction in that inflammation associated with arthritis. So what we're seeing is an increase in mobility, a decrease in pain, and therefore an increase in musculoskeletal functionality in these patients.
Great. And what does that treatment involve?
Well, very simple. The patient sits for about 30 minutes in their street clothes, completely clothed, listening to some soothing music or perhaps reading a book. Many patients end up falling asleep, but sitting in a very comfortable chair for the duration. That's really it.
Okay, now what have been the results of that treatment?
Well, again, we've seen a myriad of results, really. So far, we've seen, again, an increased blood flow, which translates to a reduction of pain syndromes in patients that have things musculoskeletal related, such as fibromyalgia, and again, the arthritises and the pains associated with that. So we've seen anywhere from appreciable to a complete reversal of symptoms. We've seen increased energy. We've seen, again, increased endurance in people that have peripheral vascular disease, where they're actually able to walk for greater distances without getting tired. Again, all the things associated with that. We've even seen on some occasions people avoiding bypass surgery. So we know that not only are we getting an increase in blood flow, but we're also getting a reduction in clogged arteries and things like that. So again, there's much more studies that need to be done, but so far we're looking really good at what we're seeing.
Since the name of the show is Live2B100, how does the MedSonic therapy system help people to live longer?
Well, that's a great question, and basically the way I see it is that much of what causes aging in people and ultimately death too is chronic disease processes, and much of that is related to the circulatory system as it is. We have a situation where we have a system, it's almost like Drano for the circulatory system. We're getting an increased blood flow across the board, which is, again, increasing the blood flow in and out of the organ systems, which is not only bringing nutrients in, but also removing a lot of the breakdown products of metabolism. So basically, we're getting a restoration to more youthful functioning of the body through those processes. And in fact, one of the things we see too is a brightening of the skin, because the skin is getting an increase in blood flow. We're seeing a very youthful appearance and glow to the skin as part of, again, this global enhancement of blood flow, all over the body.
What is the MedSonics therapy system?
The MedSonics therapy system is a non-invasive, low-frequency, acoustic, pressure wave-based therapeutic system. In other words, we're using sound waves to create the treatment effect.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, we've got to take a break. When we return, we'll meet the man who is responsible for teaching Dallas about the healing hands of chiropractors.
We'll be right back.
If you live in the Dallas area and want to learn how to live to be 100 in person, then call our studio audience number to get tickets to the show. Or you can log on to www.live2b100.com and request tickets online. More Dr. Ted and Deanne when we return.
While most people have heard of a chiropractor, many people have not visited one. Our next guest challenges that, and as president of the Parker College of Chiropractic, is actively educating hundreds of doctors of chiropractic.
He's also helping move the people in his profession to become wellness providers.
And for his efforts, our guest has been inducted into the Wellness Revolutionaries Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Fabrizio Masini.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for showing up today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
For those who have heard of a chiropractor but never visited one, what does a chiropractor do for a patient?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. In my journey of becoming a doctor of chiropractic, I was studying to be a medical doctor, a neurosurgeon. And then I was involved in a car accident, and the surgeon at the hospital referred me to his chiropractor. And in his chiropractor, I found out that I was feeling better. I took 6 months to research this profession. And this is what I found out. And this is the reason I became a chiropractor. The first one is that chiropractic promotes natural healing. The second one is that chiropractic actually has the answers to many of the healthcare problems that people have as a first line of defense without introducing drugs and surgery. And the third one is that chiropractors have the highest rating of medical providers of patient satisfaction. And the reason for that is because they mentioned that not only their pain gets well, but also their neck pain, their back pain, and their headaches get well, but also they say that they feel more energy, they sleep better, and most importantly, their quality of life improves.
So somebody that has not been in an auto accident, I know a lot of people, we all talk about you go to a chiropractor after you've been in a car wreck, but would you just come for other reasons, just because you have a headache?
Well, that's a great question. I've been practicing for 20 years as a chiropractor, and I manage the chiropractic clinic at Parker College of Chiropractic. That's the largest chiropractic clinic in the world. And what we find is that, yes, the majority of their patients come primarily because they've been injured. They've had a neck injury, a back injury, etc. But also, when they go through the clinic, they tell us that chiropractic is helping them with their ear infections, with their asthmas, with their allergies. And lately, we had a research that showed us that it improved high blood pressure and also infertility.
Now, you established the first chiropractic school in Mexico. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you know, chiropractic, the demand for chiropractic in the United States is great, but also the demand of chiropractic outside of the United States is even greater. And the government of Mexico wanted to introduce new careers, especially healthcare careers, primarily because 95% of the cost of the healthcare costs is the government pays for. So they wanted to introduce chiropractic, so we lent our curriculum and we supported that school. And in the last 2 years, we've graduated 120 chiropractors in that country.
That's amazing. Now, I know backstage we were talking a lot about how you said there was 3 components that you like to really focus as a chiropractor.
Yeah, well, primarily the main component for chiropractic is to influence and remove any nerve interference, because if you have a healthy nervous system, the body can heal itself, and that's really the only thing that heals is our bodies. But yes, we like to look at our wellness component, and the reason that we added a Bachelor's of Science degree of Health and Wellness in conjunction to our Doctor of Chiropractic degree, primarily to engage patients to recognize that over 80% of the conditions that we're facing right now are preventable. All that the patients have to do is actually have better lifestyles, make better choices. So the first one is physical. What are we going to help you in physical? We're going to help you remove nerve interference and help you with your posture. You in the audience, if you're sitting up straight, I want you to sit up straight, and let me tell you what happens there.
Look, everybody adjusting just as soon as you said that.
Yeah, because just by adjusting your posture, guess what happens? You're saying welcome to the world. You're opening yourself to the opportunities of the world. The second thing is nutrition. We definitely understand that you have to eat healthy in order for your body to regenerate properly. And the third one is physical fitness. That means that we got to move our bodies. We got to exercise at least an hour a day, and that exercise is going to help you.
An hour a day?
An hour a day.
Okay.
And believe it or not, of all the anti-aging and also to live to be 100, of all the studies that have been done, exercise is still the #1 contender to be able to live to be 100 healthy.
We'll take a quick break and be right back. More on Live to Be 100 when we return.
Dr. Masini, you also have a book about chicken soup?
Yeah,
Tell us
you know,
about
it's
your
so
book.
funny because, as you know, Chicken Soup for the Soul has sold millions of copies.
Chicken soup for the
And
everything. It's so popular.
Yeah, and they thought that because people are becoming more engaged about their health and wellness, they wanted to put a chicken soup for the chiropractic soul. And we launched that 2 years ago, and it sold hundreds of thousands of copies, and it's helping educate people as how to make better choices for their healthy lifestyle.
Now, you're the president of the Parker Chiropractic College. It's the biggest chiropractic college in the world, isn't it?
Yes, and right now I got to tell you that there's such a demand for, the Department of Labor have said that we're the fastest growing healthcare profession until 2016. And right now, if you're choosing a career that is a satisfying career, that you're going to not only have a great impact on others, but also to keep healthy, chiropractic is a great choice. And we have one of the largest schools here in Dallas, Texas.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it so much. All right, when we come back, it is the infamous roundtable where our fabulous studio audience gets to ask the experts. We'll be right back.
Are you over 40 years old and wondering how to keep your energy up throughout the day? Email us at live2be100.com and ask Dr. Ted about keeping your energy level up. We'll be right back with Dr. Ted and Deanne here on Live to Be 100.
Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite part of the show where we take questions from our live studio audience. Deanne, are you having any fun out there?
Of course! Of course I'm having fun. We're having a blast out here as always. And during the break we were talking and I met with a friend named Jeff. And I think we've got a lot of good questions out here today. We're going to start with...
Let's get going.
All right, here we go. I want you to meet Dr. Ted and Dr. Mancini and tell them your question.
Hi, Dr. Ted. My question is, how can a chiropractor help me get to my optimum health in contrary to a regular doctor?
That's a great question. And let me tell you something. The first thing that a chiropractor is going to do is going to make you recognize that your health has to be your #1 priority. If you have your health as your #1 priority, the rest of your life is going to fulfill its potential. The second thing is going to evaluate you in a way that is going to identify if there's any nerve interference. If you have nerve interference, we know that the body can never fulfill its potential in being healthy. The third thing it's going to do is going to sit down with you and truly set out your expectations and what are your goals. And let's say, for instance, we're going to talk about your nutritional expectations. We're going to sit down with you and evaluate with you what exactly is fit for you, and the same for your physical fitness. We know that you have something very special. Great question.
All right, we've got some more questions for you doctors out there. We're here with...
Hello, doctors. My name is Evan.
What is your question for these guys?
I wanted to ask, how do I get a flat stomach?
Well, getting a flat stomach is really as easy as A, B, C. A is that you work your abs every day. B is you have to have break your habits of bad eating. And C, you have to have a constant, consistent, positive mental attitude.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. You definitely want to go to that website. A lot of good information there. But first I want to know, are you guys hungry? Yeah. Hungry? Okay, when we come back, we're going to learn how to eat healthy.
Now stand up, walk around, and get that blood flowing. And we'll be right back.
Welcome back. I want you to meet my friend Robin Riddell. She's our nutrition guru. Welcome.
Yes, I am. You see this beautiful little blueberry right here?
Yes.
What do you think the first person who ever picked a blueberry off a bush said after eating it?
That is great. I want to eat it.
Exactly. Exactly. They weren't thinking about the health benefits of blueberries. They just thought they tasted good, so they ate them, right?
Sure.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Well, today, I'm afraid we are held to a little bit higher standard of accountability when it comes to food and nutrition.
Well, because we get fat if we don't do it.
I mean, there are actually food and nutrition scientists, and they break down the nutritional components of different foods, and they decipher the elements that make those foods beneficial to us.
But it's hard to follow sometimes.
Well, it's true.
Teach us in our language.
Well, I mean, you have your choice between, let's say, a Twinkie, right?
Okay.
And this. And you say, why would I eat this when I could eat...
I have a Twinkie.
A Twinkie. Because this right here, this beautiful little plate of food, is an Epicurean powerhouse. Superfoods, Deanne. Power foods. These foods... Yes! Power foods!
What do you mean when you're telling us they're power foods? What do you mean?
Okay. These foods can do so much more than just satisfy our hunger. They are so powerful. They can not only fuel our bodies, but they can fight disease. They can prevent sickness.
By eating
They can
food.
prolong our lives. Yes!
Sign me up. Sign me up for that.
I know.
Okay. So I'm familiar with superfoods, but I want you to explain kind of what's going on here.
Okay, take this cute, little, innocent-looking blueberry right here. It contains vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, in this little bitty container, magnesium, potassium, fiber, beta-carotene. It fights cancer.
Wait,
it
just by having
improves our
this?
memory. Yes. And it's packed with the immune system boosting antioxidants. That's a buzzword, antioxidants. It's packed with them.
I want to eat a lot of these. Okay, but you also have salmon and spinach. And
Exactly.
what else
And see, these are all great examples of power foods.
Can we eat
Salmon,
these?
sure, absolutely. I've watched them. Salmon increases heart health. Spinach reduces the risk of cancer, stroke and heart disease. And whole grains, they lower cholesterol.
All right, well, let's get started by putting these power foods to work. And I know that she has several recipes she's going to show us that incorporate some of these superfoods. So
exactly.
Here you go.
This right here is a delicious example of a life-extending lunch.
Well, okay, keep going. I
This
like what
is
I'm hearing.
it's a spinach salad. It's got grilled salmon, fresh blueberries, feta, and walnuts, all scrumptious power foods in one simple, delicious entree.
Don't forget to see a list of power foods and get today's featured recipe. Log on to live2be100.com. Time to work your abs during the break, and we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to the show. Let's answer some emails.
Okay, let's start here. I think I've got a really good one right here. Ready? Okay, do you ever get too old to exercise?
The simple answer is no, you never get too old to exercise. But remember, if you've not exercised in a while, don't go out and try to run 10 miles. Too many people overdo it. It's like driving a car on the highway too fast when you're not used to it, or not knowing what you're trying to do. Start at a reasonable pace. Accelerate and be comfortable with what you're doing. Get used to the exercise so you won't be sore. Don't try to go 150 miles an hour. Walk before you run.
So if you're just starting as a beginner, you need to just start slower, but if you're already doing exercise at your age, keep going, right? Okay, makes perfect sense. We'll be right back.
If you live in the Dallas area and want to learn how to live to be 100 in person, then call our studio audience number to get tickets to the show. Or you can log on to www.live2be100.com and request tickets online. More Dr. Ted and Deanne when we return.
watching. We had an excellent show today. We had a lot of fun.
Hey, I want to thank our guests, Dr. Masini and Dr. Lipman.
Also, we want to thank Zoba for donating a lot of clothes for the yoga section. We appreciate it.
Be sure to turn in tomorrow. We're going to have my good friend Larry North, and you're going to learn a little bit of yoga.
Now remember, until then, we want you to eat healthy, stay fit, energized, so you too can live to be 100.
Be sure to join us tomorrow when Dr. Ted invites Yoga Fit's Skylar Ramirez to teach us some yoga right here on Live to Be 100.